A shadow fleet of Russian tankers is sailing closer to Europe's shores, carrying more than just oil. Western and Ukrainian intelligence sources tell CNN that Russian personnel with military and security ties are conducting covert spying operations on these ships. Since the war in Ukraine started in 2022, Moscow has built hundreds of tankers to bypass Western sanctions, earning the Kremlin hundreds of millions of dollars. In recent months, some of these vessels, often registered to unrelated countries, have added extra crew members shortly before leaving port. Documents obtained by Ukrainian intelligence reveal predominantly non-Russian crews, but with a small number of Russians, including full passport details added at the bottom. The presence of Russians with security backgrounds aboard these tankers has alarmed European capitals, signaling bold Kremlin tactics. Multiple sources say these men are employed by Moran Security, a private Russian firm with links to the military and intelligence services. Some Moran personnel are mercenaries who have previously worked for Russia's notorious Wagner Group, adding another layer of concern. The U.S. Treasury sanctioned Moran Security in 2024, citing its armed services for Russian state-owned enterprises, intensifying pressure for the war in Ukraine. Moran guards are often the only Russians on board, keeping watch over non-Russian captains and ensuring operations align with Kremlin interests. Ukrainian intelligence confirms that about 6 months ago, Moran personnel began boarding these vessels, sometimes taking photographs of European military installations. European security officials are increasingly worried about espionage, sabotage, and hybrid warfare as the shadow fleet grows near the continent's coastlines. Blaise Metroeli, the UK's foreign intelligence chief, warns that Russia is testing Europe in the gray zone, with tactics just below the threshold of war. Ukrainian intelligence has identified several Russian men with military links who sailed similar routes on other Shadow Fleet vessels in the past year. Moran Security's president, Vyacheslav Kalashnikov, is a retired FSB lieutenant colonel, and other managers are former nuclear submarine commanders. The firm offers international logistics, maritime and onshore security, and intelligence operations, including a documented role in Syria supporting the Assad regime. Moran works with Russian state-owned enterprises like Sovcomplot, and its operations now span Moscow and Belize, a known hub for shell companies. As Russia's shadow fleet expands its reach, Europe faces a delicate dilemma, balancing energy security, military vigilance, and the growing threat of covert espionage. A fleet of oil, espionage, and hidden agendas, and the stakes for Europe could not be higher.
Another deadly night in Ukraine's war, and the Black Sea is once again at the center of the storm. The death toll from a Russian missile strike on Ukraine's port city of Odessa has climbed from 7 to 8. At least 30 people are wounded, according to Ukrainian authorities. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the situation in Odessa as harsh, accusing Russia of deliberately trying to choke Ukraine's access to the Black Sea, a lifeline for trade and security. Zelensky also signaled accountability at home, saying he is considering replacing the head of Ukraine's Southern Air Command, Dmytro Karpenko, following the strikes on Odessa. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister, Oleksiy Kuleba, said Russian forces also targeted the nearby port city of Pivdeny, striking several reservoirs in a separate attack. Ukraine's military says it has struck back. Special forces carried out a drone attack on a Lukoil oil rig in the Caspian Sea, as well as a Russian military patrol ship named Okhotnik. The military added that the Filanovsky oil rig, already hit twice earlier this month, was damaged again in the latest strike. Ukraine also claims it destroyed 2 Russian fighter jets at an airfield in occupied Crimean Peninsula. Meanwhile, Russia's Ministry of Defense says its forces have taken control of 2 villages, Svitle in eastern Donetsk and Vysoke in the northeastern Luhansk region. As missiles, drones, and territory change hands, the battle for Ukraine's ports and control of the Black Sea is intensifying, with no sign of de-escalation. A new diplomatic push is on the table, but Ukraine's president is keeping expectations firmly in check. Volodymyr Zelensky says the United States has proposed a new format for talks with Russia, involving three-way discussions between national security advisors from Ukraine, Russia, and the U.S. While welcoming Washington's involvement, Zelensky expressed skepticism that the proposal would bring anything new, warning that past talks have delivered limited results. Still, the Ukrainian leader said U.S.-led negotiations remain the most viable path forward. Zelensky said Ukraine would support trilateral talks if they lead to tangible progress, including prisoner of war swaps or preparations for a meeting between national leaders. Zelensky also urged European leaders to move decisively on seizing frozen Russian assets and redirecting them to fund Ukraine's war effort. He said doing so would strengthen Ukraine's leverage at the negotiating table and help sustain the country through a prolonged conflict. According to the International Monetary Fund, Ukraine will require approximately $161 billion in 2026 and 2027 as the ongoing war continues to strain the nation's economy.